Chapter 2, The Black Spot. Dr. Livesey was very kind. He helped us make arrangements for my father's funeral. The captain did not leave his bed for many days. He did not get up until after the funeral. When he got up, he started to drink rum. "I must get away from here, Jim," the captain said to me. "Tell Dr. Livesey, tell him I was a pirate. Tell him I sailed on Captain Flint's ship." I had heard of Captain Flint. Sailors told stories about him. Captain Flint had been a terrible pirate. He had killed many men and robbed many ships. "Flint's men want to find me," the captain went on. "I was on Flint's ship with them. Now they want the chest. They want the sea chest in my room. I must get away." But the captain could not go anywhere. He was too drunk. I heard a noise outside the inn. It was the noise of someone tapping a stick on the road. The noise came closer and closer. Then I heard a voice calling, "Will anyone help me?" I looked outside and saw a beggar standing in the road. He was dressed in ragged clothes and wore a green cloth over his eyes. He was blind. He tapped a stick in front of him as he walked. "Will anyone help a poor blind man?" shouted the beggar. "Will anyone tell me where I am?" "You are at the Admiral Benbow Inn," I said. "I hear a young voice, a kind voice," said the beggar. "Will you hold my hand, young sir?" I held out my hand to the beggar and he took hold of it, but the blind man suddenly pulled me towards him and twisted my arm. "Now, boy, take me to the captain," said the beggar. "Take me to the captain or I'll break your arm." He twisted my arm again and I cried out. I was very frightened, but I took him to the captain. I thought that the captain would be angry. I thought that he would shout. But the captain said nothing. He sat at a table with a bottle of rum in front of him. His face was white. "Blind Pew," said the captain. "You've come at last." "Aye, Captain, I've come," said Pew, the blind beggar. "Now, boy," Pew said to me, "hold out the captain's left hand." I did as I was told. I took hold of the captain's left hand and held it out to Blind Pew. Blind Pew put a piece of paper in the captain's hand. There was a large black spot on the paper. "The black spot," shouted the captain. The color of his face changed from white to red. "Aye, Captain, it's the black spot," said Blind Pew. "Now you know. We'll come for you tonight." Blind Pew let go of my arm and walked to the door. He held his stick out in front of him. He left the inn and I heard his stick tap on the road. The captain stood up. He put his hand on his throat. His face was purple. "The chest, Jim. Get my sea chest." The captain fell down onto the floor. "Mother," I called. We both tried to help the captain, but he was dead. Quickly, I told my mother what had happened. "Men are coming," I said. "Men pirates I don't know. They want the captain's sea chest." "We must get help," said my mother. "We must get help from the village." My mother and I ran outside. We ran to the village. We told people there was trouble at the Admiral Benbow. We told them that pirates were coming, but no one wanted to help us. Everyone was afraid. At last one man sent his son to get Dr. Livesey. "Dr. Livesey will know what to do," said the man. It was dark when my mother and I returned to the Admiral Benbow. We were alone and afraid. I lit a candle. There, on the floor, lay the body of the captain. The black spot lay in his hand. "Let's open his sea chest," I said. We went to the captain's room to find the sea chest. The wooden box was locked. I had to look in the dead man's pockets for a key. The captain's face was purple and black. His eyes were open. His body was cold. I found a key on a chain round his neck. We opened the wooden chest with the key. Inside the chest was a bag of money and a leather packet. My mother started to count the money. "I'll take the money he owes me and no more," she said. But there were many coins. Some coins were English pounds. Some coins were Spanish pieces of 8. I heard a noise outside. I heard a whistle. "Hurry," I said. "Hurry, the pirates are coming." But my mother kept counting the gold coins. Outside I heard the tap 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 of a stick. I knew Blind Pew had come back. "Leave the money and run," I said. "The pirates will kill us." I took the leather packet from the chest. My mother took a few coins. We opened the back door and ran out of the inn. We ran towards the village. Behind us we heard shouts. Men were outside the inn. They kicked open the front door. Then I heard the voice of Blind Pew. "Get the chest! Get the map!" Blind Pew shouted. Suddenly we heard another sound. My mother and I stopped running. We could not see the road because the night was dark. But we heard the sound of horses. We heard many men riding horses towards us. Then we heard the sound of a gunshot. A pistol was fired in the darkness. "Run!" a voice shouted. "Don't leave me!" shouted Blind Pew. My mother and I went back towards the inn. Lights were burning in the windows. We saw men running towards the sea. Blind Pew ran along the road tapping his stick. The sound of the horses on the road was getting louder. "Don't leave me!" Blind Pew shouted. He tried to run his friends, but the road was rough and he fell to the ground. The horsemen did not see Blind Pew in the darkness. They rode over him. Blind Pew gave a terrible scream. I knew he was dead. A. Answer the following questions. 1. How did Blind Pew die? The horsemen rode over him. 2. Why do Jim Hawkins and his mother run to the village? Because there is trouble at the Admiral Benbow Inn. B. Draw a circle round the letter of the most correct alternative, A, B, C, or D. 1. Jim Hawkins and his mother run to the village to tell the people. A. About the captain. B. About the death of Jim's father. C. About Blind Pew. D. That there is trouble at the Admiral Benbow Inn. C. Decide whether the following statements are true or false. Write T for the true statement and F for the false one. 1. Captain Flint had killed many men and robbed many ships. 2. The horsemen rode over Blind Pew. 3. Jim's mother took a map from the sea chest. 1. The captain tells Jim that Flint's men are looking for him. What do they want? They wanted the sea chest. 2. What does Blind Pew do when he comes to the Admiral Benbow Inn? He put a piece of paper with a black spot on it in the captain's hand. 3. What do Jim and his mother find in the captain's sea chest? They found a bag of money and a leather packet.